Mind Over Matter, where innovation meets wellness and resilience becomes a roadmap to transformation. Today's guest is Graham Harper, a former competitive athlete turned wellness tech pioneer and founder of Luma Flex, the world's first flexible, waterproof, portable red light therapy device. After battling injuries from rugby, CrossFit, boxing, and even surviving a brain tumor, John found healing in red light therapy. Now, he's on a mission to bring this science backed tool to anyone seeking better recovery, resilience, and well being. Welcome to the show, John. I'm so delighted to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful intro. I appreciate it.
Mhm. So, John, your journey from athlete to entrepreneur in wellness tech is inspiring. How did your personal health battles, especially with injuries and a brain tumor, lead you to discover red light therapy?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was very aggressive in competitive sports when I was young. I liked impact sports. I played rugby. I did CrossFit for a while, and then I really got very much involved into boxing. I really liked the challenge and the impact. And I think, when you're young and you really want to pursue that challenge and you want that aggression. I think that, later in life, now that I'm almost 40, I look back and I appreciate that time, but I'm very much into recovery now. I'm very much into taking care of your body and being mindful and not just addressing your physical health, but also your mental, your spiritual and emotional health. So now, going through those trials, those hard times of injury when I was a competitive athlete, it was very good because, with that low time in my life, dealing with lots of serious injuries, it came out into a high time, where I'm able to share this amazing natural, non-invasive technology with the world, which is red light therapy. So my wife actually introduced me to red light therapy, and the device that she introduced me to, it was very hard to use. It was cumbersome. It was something that, even though it did work and I had amazing healing, I felt like I could create a device that was far more user friendly, something that was portable, that you could carry with you on the go. And that was where, I started my journey into understanding what light therapy is, and bringing about Luma Flex, which is now, I believe, it's credited to be the world's #1 portable red light therapy panel. And it's something that's extremely versatile. It's easy to use. You can have it in, your gym bag or inside a woman's purse, or in a man's bag for when he goes to work. And it's something that's, very much on the go, use anytime. And that's really where red light therapy can be a game changer in people's lives, is when they use it continuously. They're consistent in their red light therapy treatment, and that's where we can see a lot of change in the body on a cellular level. So it's been an amazing journey, and obviously down, coming from very lows to achieving something, and like a technological breakthrough and achieving a great device that's won. Actually, we've won 9 awards to date. It's the most heavily awarded product in red light therapy on the market now. And yeah, it's wonderful, and I'm excited about what's to come in the future.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what was the moment that made you realize this wasn't just a recovery for you, but a calling to help others?
I think I've always been very drawn to creating lots of impact in the world. I've all the businesses and ventures and projects that I've been into have always had a lot of big, sort of a big impact effect. I've always liked doing something that was very, very impact driven. So it's, when getting into red light therapy and sharing the knowledge, the studies, and then of course sharing the device with family, with friends, with clients, with customers, and hearing feedback. I remember one lady I met on a plane. I was flying from Chicago to Miami, and she said, she had a condition. Her sister had a condition, and she saw that I had the Luma Flex on my body when I was in the plane, and she asked me like, "What is this? What is red light therapy?" So we talked a lot, and we stayed in touch. And she got a device for herself, and she shared it with her sister. And I remember she emailed me later, and she said it was a miracle that that we were able to meet on that plane. And it meant a lot to me, and I really enjoyed having that impact with people. So that's kind of like where, when you have these sorts of responses where people are getting healed, and they're becoming excited about their well-being and their life and being able to live longer and being able to, enjoy their lives with, being pain-free. It's something that's it's very powerful. It's a very powerful feeling you get, and you become very excited and driven to do more, to double down and and create more impact. So it's definitely something I consider I'll be doing for the rest of my life if I can. And my goal is to be able to mainstream red light therapy, to make it very commercial, allow it to be in everybody's home, in everybody's life, integrated into every kind of environment. That's kind of my vision. That's what wakes me up at night, in the morning. So yeah, it's exciting.
That shift from healing yourself to helping others heal, that's where true leadership begins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. The impact that you find on yourself, you want to share it with others. I've always had that with fitness too, because I've always been in fitness and sports. And I was growing up, I was skinny. I wasn't very confident, but then in the gym, I got a lot of confidence because I was training. I was becoming more fit, more able, and that is what I wanted to share out to people. I wanted people to be confident. I wanted people to be healthy and to be able to, explore their potential physically. That was something that always drove me. So I'm just now in another phase of my life where I'm doing the same thing, but for wellness, and it's because red light therapy is really it's medicine. Light therapy is natural medicine, and it's from the sun. It's not anything like some pseudoscience, or it's not created in a laboratory. It's natural, and it's available to us, from the sun. But we're not able to get the healing light from the sun like we did back in ancient times. So devices are now available that we can get the same healing from light, but it's in our bag. It's something that we can use anytime. And that's powerful for me. That's something that is inspiring, and I want to share this out to everyone and anyone.
Absolutely. So, red light therapy sounds futuristic to many. Can you break down the science behind it?
It's best that, the science can be as complex as you want, but it's always best to try to simplify it so that we can get more and more people who don't know anything about red light therapy. We can get them interested, and we can get them to explore the power of what light can do. So like I said before, light, it's just from the sun. And red and infrared light, the red light goes about an inch into your body. These wavelengths of light, these nanometers of light, can go about an inch into your body, and infrared light can go deeper, up to 4 inches into the body. And this is where the light can penetrate your skin and give energy to your mitochondria. Your mitochondria is like the engine in your cell. So like if you imagine your cell is like the car, the engine of the car is your mitochondria. So giving energy to the mitochondria, it results in, enhanced blood circulation, in decrease in inflammation, and increase ATP, cellular energy. So when change happens in the body, what's the way the change is happening is because the cells have energy. We live right now, we as humans, we're over 90% deficient in natural sunlight compared to how we were, in ancient times. So having that increased cellular energy allows our cells to do what they're supposed to do. right? So if you have an injury, if you have pain, and I mean like chronic pain, like arthritis, like serious pain that you've dealt with for many years, the problem is that your cells don't have enough energy to heal. They don't have enough energy to heal you. So if you're giving energy to the cell can do the healing for you. So it's not really the light that heals you, it's the cells that have energy to heal themselves. So that's sort of a way that, if anyone listening, or and if you hear this and you want to explain to people what light therapy is, explain it to them in that way, because then they can understand it quickly, and then they can also communicate it to others, to friends, to family, to coworkers, to people that have conditions. You can explain that it's cellular energy is what is given with light therapy. Anything light therapy is cellular energy. So, we can achieve a lot of outcomes with this cellular energy. Like there are light therapy devices now that are specific for hair growth. They're using light therapy to help grow people's hair. A very large area in light therapy is beauty. Probably 90% of the light therapy business, the industry, is actually the beauty market. And that's with collagen production, with dealing with wrinkles, and blemishes, pimples. This is something that the women can use for their skin to make them look young, to help heal their skin. So there's so many wonderful things that light therapy can do for the human condition, raising testosterone, pain management, hair growth, boosting your body's SPF levels, regulating your hormones. Like we live in a world now where we're under artificial light, that we're in homes now with lights, and we go to work where, in our offices, we've got artificial light. So we don't have access to that sunlight that we need. So having sunlight in your life, especially with computer right now, we're on the computer, we're looking at our phones. This is all artificial light. This creates inflammation in our body, and we need natural light. We need sunlight to help balance, and decrease the inflammation. So, this comes with, enhanced sleep, better mental clarity, just better overall mental wellness. I'm sure it's quite well known how anxiety and depression, these mental conditions are they're rising in the world now. They're becoming more and more prominent. And that's because people are on their phones a lot, and it's not healthy for us to be exposed to artificial light, especially through our phones and late at night. We're supposed to, listen to our circadian rhythm and wake up when the sun rises, and we should wind down. We should sleep. We should deload during sunset. When the sun has set. So it's important for us to have access to, red and infrared light throughout our day, like we did back in ancient times, to help with our overall mental well-being. That's something that is not talked about enough, I think, with light therapy, is how it can really benefit your mental health, which is really becoming a big problem in the world now.
Absolutely. So, what does the research say about long term benefits?
Yeah, I'm very benefited to have access to a global database where all of the clinical research for red light therapy is all stored in this clinical database. And it's from a famous photobiomodulation doctor. He's collected all of the studies, and he's put them together. And through there's a research, it shows that, a lot of mental conditions can be helped with red light therapy. And also longevity. You're having cellular energy, having that energy to your cells on a consistent basis can really support a lot in just living longer. And this is, I'm sure that there are very famous biohackers like Brian Johnson, Dave Asprey, a very famous neuroscientist, Andrew Huberman. they all talk about longevity, about how we can optimize our life and also live longer. And they talk about how it's very important for sunlight to be involved in this process to help us, live longer and to get the most out of our lives. So it's an overwhelming amount of research that is available, just online, just on PubMed. You can see such an amazing amount of research that supports, consistently using red light therapy in your day long term. Because don't forget, us as creatures of light, born under the light, we would, in ancient times, we would rise, at sunrise. That's our red and infrared light time, and red and infrared light is available throughout the day, but also UV light is also, available throughout the days. And this can be harmful to our cells. So sunrise and sunset, that's that golden hour, that's our red and infrared light time. And if you can imagine in ancient times, that was in our practice, right? That was, the pattern of a human being is we would always be getting our red and infrared light time. And then you come, to where we are now, and we live in concrete jungles. A lot of people, wake up under artificial light. They get in a car, they go to work, then they leave work, they'll go to a restaurant or they'll go home, and they're really not exposed to sunlight. And, and this is where a lot of, mental and physical conditions are starting to arise now. So definitely red and infrared light is key to us in longevity and in our overall well-being. And to be able to recreate, how we're supposed to live back in ancient times, that's pretty much what biohacking is all about. Biohacking, to simplify what it means, it's getting ancient natural remedies that, we used to have access to on a regular basis in our daily lives during ancient times, and we're bringing it forward to where we are now, and we're starting to hack our bodies now. So absolutely, what overwhelming research for long-term use of red light therapy for our body.
It's incredible to hear how light, something we take for granted, can be harnessed for such deep healing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's really amazing.
Mhm. So, Luma Flex stands out in this space. What sets your device apart from traditional red light therapy solutions?
Yeah, I mean, so, like I said before, we've won 9 awards, 9 design and innovation awards for LumaFlex. And when I entered the business of photobiomodulation and creating a device, what I saw was missing was a device that was tailored to the customer, tailored to the user. There's a lot of devices out there that are great. They do work. They do promise what they say, but they're not so user friendly. You as a human have to adapt to the product. And that is, I feel, becoming from a fitness background where people would ask me, what does it take to be healthy? It's consistent eating healthy, it's consistent sleep, making sure you hydrate, making sure you exercise. Consistency is a very key thing in physical success, in becoming healthy, losing weight, and becoming active. So, and it's the same with red light therapy. I wanted to create a device that was seamless to use. It could integrate into anyone's life, and that is down to the exact size that the LumaFlex is. The exact size is is for the number one pain that is in the world right now, which is the lower back pain. So there's a large enough surface area, to help with the lower back pain. But also, I can't have the device too big because then it loses portability. I can't guarantee that it will be, in everybody's bag and used on the go as they travel or as they go to work or as you pick up your kids from soccer practice. So the exact size, the material used, the feel of the product, the 45 LEDs of red light, which is 630, and infrared light, which is 850, the battery, the charging, and then the Body Pro. If you look at the website, lumaflex.com, the Body Pro is environment and temperature tested. So it's actually fully waterproof. So I created a device that was very durable, a device that could really, stand the test of time, and you could have it in any and all environments. And it's something that I'm pushing into the military, which I feel, the expression of the design and the innovation will be fully realized is when it's used in the military. So really where we are different from other devices is the hardware. It's the actual device itself, and the material used, the size, and how it can really be the device that you will use every day. Like if you were to, have a race with all the red light therapy devices in the world, and the way you win this race is, you have to the device that you are using this same time next year, that's how you win the race. That's the race we win. I feel like when you buy a device, a Luma Flex, you will use it, and when I call you this same time next year, you will still be using a Luma Flex. That's kind of our point of difference is we excel in design and product development.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
That's great. I'm glad that it is becoming more and more recognized. And obviously we're stacking more awards. And the awards just tell that story. It just tells the story of the design, the work that's been put into it, and really the thought process of how we, not just create a device that works, but really can work for everyone and can mainstream red light therapy, bringing it into everybody's home, making it trendy, making it something that everybody has in their bags and they talk about at brunch parties. And it's something that's regularly discussed and used and implemented, right? That's what LumaFlex is all about.
Absolutely. So, how did your background as an athlete shape the design and functionality of LumaFlex?
Yeah, exactly like I said, where because me as an athlete, I consistency was always part of what I would do, right? Like consistency in training, waking up early, making sure I ate healthy, I protected my bodies. I pushed myself, but I was, I wanted to perform well, and consistency is the key. I mean, it's also the key in business as well. If you want to be successful and make a lot of money, there's things you have to do that you have to, the small things you do every day, that's what count. So that sort of thinking, that process is what came, into LumaFlex. And that's what it's all about. Like LumaFlex is very much my it's very much my life, my history as a fitness professional, as an athlete. And it's sort of everything that I learned in those years past has really shaped what the company is and what the products are right now and today.
That athlete's perspective brings such authenticity, building something for recovery by someone who lived it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look, it really made the company what it is today is more personal story. And it will obviously be a very key part in the future products that are coming. We have 5 new products launching this year. So yeah, stay tuned with to lumaflex.com. There was a lot of exciting products coming.
Absolutely. So, for someone new to red light therapy, how can they integrate into their daily wellness routine?
So the best advice I would give for someone, obviously, if you have pain, LumaFlex is designed as a skin contact device. It's a treatment tool. So you aim at the pain. You have a sore shoulder. It's liquid silicone, so it can wrap to different joints and muscles. So aim at the pain. Do 2 treatments a day. Separate those 10-minute treatments by about 6 hours apart. The key time to do your red light therapy for pain management is before bed. But if you don't have pain, right, and if you want to address your overall well-being, the key areas to aim red light, using the LumaFlex are your head, your forehead. You can put it on your forehead, the back of your neck, which is your spine, your chest for your heart, and then your gut. Because we all know that your gut is like your second brain, and a lot of conditions that happen in your head can be a lot of them can be helped by, addressing your gut. So that is what I usually recommend to everybody getting started with red light therapy. Do that every morning before you wake up, 10 minutes on those areas. And then before bed, do it again, 10 minutes on those areas. And then, like I said, if you have pain, you aim at the pain and you do two treatments a day, 10 minutes each, and give at least 6 hours between each treatment. So those are the two general protocols I do for pain management and then for overall well-being, using red light therapy and using Luma Flex.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, are there common mistakes or misconceptions you'd love to clear up about its use?
Yeah, it's red light therapy is not made in the laboratory or some pseudoscience hocus pocus mumbo jumbo. It is natural. It's been around since the beginning of our existence. And it's something that I very much am happy that is slowly getting the recognition it deserves. And it's something that everybody should try before they go to any kind of pharmaceutical or even surgery. Like, why not explore a natural means of treatment before you put, an artificial pill into your body or you get surgery? It's at least worth, a try. And there's investment that is needed in red light therapy. You're giving your cells energy. And if you are broken and you don't have access to sunlight, you can imagine your cells are not very healthy. They don't have much energy. So, I would do treatments every day, like I said before, and do it for 2 weeks. Most photobiomodulation doctors that prescribe light therapy to patients, they always encourage a month of use, of daily use for a month before you will start to see the benefits. So give that investment, and really, take a change in your life and look for natural means of treatment over using drugs and pharmaceuticals, because it is something that is very heavily backed by science. I have access to this clinical database, like I said before, and there's close to 9,000 studies that support red light therapy for the human condition. And there are studies that, for arthritis, for Alzheimer's, for Parkinson's, for dementia, for some very, very serious diseases as well, for eye diseases, even for cancer, they're using red light therapy to potentially cure cancer. So this is real science. These are real studies. There's real data. It's very easy to access on the internet. I mean, if you want easy content to listen to and you don't want to read a clinical paper from PubMed, just go to YouTube and type red light therapy clinical research, and you'll see an amazing amount of research that is available. We put a lot of clinical studies on our website as well, which are very, very good to access. If you go to the site, you can see the tab clinical trials and you can get a lot of information there. It's amazing. And I'm excited to get this information out and change the world with light.
That guidance makes it so approachable. It's not about adding complexity, but enhancing what's already there.
That's exactly right. That's very well put.
John Graham Harper shows us that healing is more than recovery, it's reinvention. With LumaFlex and the power of red light therapy, he is lighting the way of a new era of wellness where science meets soul and resilience leads the journey. So here's your reminder: sometimes the light you need is the one you bring to yourself.